Mike has his hike on. How about you? It's morning on Blood Mountain. I thought I'd start the day letting you know I'm gonna pass, what's that, Neil's Gap? 3.5 miles. And I'm just leaving Blood Mountain. I'm gonna show you the tunnel here. Had a good night's sleep. The concrete was cold in the stone building on top of Blood Mountain. And my air mattress, first time had a hole in it. Thermarest, awesome mattress, air pad, however you refer to it. It's a 23 inch, I like narrow, and my tent's single. It's all good. Secure tent in the wind. Of course, I was in the stone building last night. That concrete floor was cold because my air pad didn't have any R value, no air in it. All right. Hey, I'm gonna show you the trail. I want you to see this little tunnel. It's a stone path going as I go north, leaving the stone building. Just walked about 20 yards. Yeah, there, see that? There's a stone walkway fit for any mansion home in the high-priced estates anywhere in affluent America. Yes, sir. But here it is, right outside that green entry is the stone building. But here's the trail, and we're headed northbound. 3.2 miles, Neil's Gap. All right, here's what I like to see. The white blaze. Hey, there's my shoes. Nice shoes. Still wonderful, man. Light on my feet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put the camera away. Uh-oh. But we're glad for this. Oh, this is awesome. This is my first epic view. Last night I was trying to shoot videos. No, nothing like this. And the sun's coming up, obviously, in the east and shining from the left of these mountaintops. What a vista. See what that horizon has. See what we get. We're trying to figure some of this out. Okay. Well, that's beautiful. All right, hiking with Mike. I just walked about 15 yards. Here's more of this green tunnel leaving Blood Mountain Stone House. Look at this awesome canopy. Narrow walkway on this, I want to call it granite, but it's this mountain rock. Somebody that knows their stones material could tell me. Rock formation material. Look at this.
Hey, just Bill here with Pack Whisperer. Just fitted his pack to him.
Awesome job. It is a great man. Here at Neil Gap at the store. Been here 10 years. This is an awesome dude.
Put another sticker on.
Here I am at the Neil's Gap store. This is a hot spot on the AT and recognized by every AT through hiker. The only building on the AT that goes, the trail goes through the building. Here's where we go through the trail, actually through the store. Coming up to the store again and to the entrance. They've got everything you need for hiker supply here, and some great snacks and dehydrated meals, and just supporting hikers. Hiking on with Mike. I'm coming out of Neal Gap on the uphill. Let's look at the trail. Mike has his hike on. I had to stop for this view. You can always tell when there's buildings, structures out there. I see that white object shape out there in the horizon. Those new hikers, they looked over their shoulder, and I had my head down on the trail, and they said, "Oh, look at that view." Or I would have hiked right by it. Sometimes I put my head down and I keep going. But I told them we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this. So here we go. There's our view. The haze, the mist is out there, but there's plenty to see. And it doesn't get any better than this on the AT. It's a warm day, but it's a good day when you're making time. Let me go ahead and steady. I'm going to pan one more time right through here. All right, let's do a zoom. There's the zoom. Let's see if I can get that white building. Oh, there's that white building. That white building in there. There it is. Right there. Well, now you've seen the view for this moment. Hiking on with Mike. We're headed up the trail. Here's a big incline. Here's feet level. Coming up. I'm breathing hard and sweating. I'm working hard out here. It's my first long section hike and my first solo hike. I've done mostly about 20 miles each of the last 2 years, one trip per year section hike. This year I came out in the summer. Being from Florida, I knew I could challenge the heat and survive. But with this heat and inclines, there's some YouTubers don't do the selfie look. And I haven't really done what you call a B-roll, showing me hiking by, and I'll do that in the future. I'll need to make more trips and more hikes, but in this case, I'm showing the trail, giving an introduction to some things, some trail talk, some things I've experienced, seen, learned, or been told. So I wanted you to see this part of the trail going up the Hogpen Gap. We're doing a serious incline. I've got a bucket of water of sweat on me and working hard. Okay, we're leveling off here. This kind of trail we're looking at right now. And we're hiking on with Mike. All right, this is what it looks like to work on the Appalachian Trail, July 28th in the summer, with a Hogpen incline, Hogpen Gap. I've made it to a spring within 0.2 miles. So I did a water carry. I had 7 pounds of water. Let's see, I had 3 liters plus a 3/4 liter bottle, 750 milliliter. So I carried that, and I'm down to less than a liter now, about 3/4 of a liter, about 3/4 of a liter. So I'll show you the trail. We're gonna find this spring, or I'm gonna have to act like a camel, hike about 5 miles with no water. After I just hiked, I think, 7 miles. It's serious. That's why planning for water is crucial. All right, turn the camera around. We're hiking on with Mike. I'm going to be looking at far out. I'm learning far out. I had to learn some things, how to show items on the map. I didn't know about that, and then I saw, oh, show on map. Oh, how about that? It makes a big difference. This spring's a little bit off the trail, and I'm going to show it on the map and make sure it doesn't get away from me because I don't have another option. I've been in that situation before, first time on the Appalachian Trail. I went from Winding Stair Gap to the NOC, and we were doing a serious incline with my wife. And she ran out of water. She borrowed a bottle of water from a day hiker. Borrowed, she got one. And I had less than a liter. And when we got to the top of the mountain, I couldn't find the water, but my wife, she can see things I can't. It was a piped water source. I saw a bunch of campsites. Where's the water? Where's the water? That would have been serious problem of more hiking without water, which can get untenable, can get troublesome to life and death. All right, well, let's look at the trail for a moment. I'm switching over on my far out map here in a moment. Make sure I zero in on this water source. It's supposed to be a spring with a half blue bubble drip, meaning it's not a major source, but it should be some water. A little switch back here. And I will catch you on down the trail. Hiking on with Mike. We're on the trail headed northbound. I just took a break, rest my legs, keep them fresh for my next 7.5 miles to the shelter that I'm targeting. Something like Lowest Gap Shelter. I met 2 new hikers hiking to Hogpen Gap, and they are on a day hike, but they're new to the trail and trying to learn what it's about. One of the hikers' brothers had retired from the military and came out and did a through hike in 2 years. So that makes him a lifetime through hiker I was talking about earlier. He didn't do it in 12 months, but he did it. And to me, that's what counts. That's what I count. I don't like the t-shirts, old man rule, because they don't rule. But we each have to make our own hike. Hike your own hike. I will say there's a lot of encouragement and camaraderie if you hike with someone that helps you set the pace. Yesterday, I met some first-time hikers. There was one was a nephew. The oldest guy was the uncle. The nephew had a son, and the uncle had his son, which means the 2 guys, younger adults, were cousins, if you follow your family tree. I met them, they were all new. Borrowed equipment on the cheap, and they were roughing it. They did have their InReach SOS available, and they were running short on water. They were struggling with weight. But they made it to Neil Gap. That's where they exited. But they were out there for a few days at least. And I think they started at Springer. So that's 31 miles. That's major for a first time. The youngest was the guy called the nephew of the uncle, his son, 12 years old. And they were all troopers. They were all fighting it. They didn't give in. When some of those older legs, the uncle about 46 years old, in the gym. I mean, they were from Kentucky. And of course the nephew lives in Florida, so family. They met together to make this hike. And they pulled each other through. They made it. And that 12-year-old, I call them all troopers. Trooper mean you just keep going and fight through the pain. And you got to make sure you can take strain, but don't take the injuries. You need to get off trail if there's injuries. But they took all the strain and all the pain because they made it, and I saw them hurting the whole way. Struggling for water, thirsty. They got support from the trail maintenance lady. She actually bought them a pizza one night. But they were in need of all the help they could get, I will say that. When I came on the trail for this 58 miles, they needed water, and the shuttle driver bandit dropped me off, and he carries trail magic. He gave them water so they can make it the next 3 miles to the next stream. Mike is hiking on. I'm coming into Camp Low Gap Shelter. Oh, somebody lost their shirt. They hung it up for them. End of the day, the sun's of course setting in the west, and it's visible on this side of the mountain trail. 15-mile day. The last 4.5 miles, relatively flat. There was a peak I just completed. Some elevation, but it seemed like at least 3 miles were fairly level, not noticeable up or down, not enough to matter. So here's the trail coming into camp. I'll be in at 6 p.m. and it's a shelter with a bear box, which seems good. A lot of warnings about bear presence and activity. Okay. Yep. Why blaze? All right, well, going to Low Gap Shelter, which obviously we're going downhill to the Low Gap. All right, well, we had our hike on. I'll catch you on down the trail.